I turned this afternoon. It's got 92 pieces of wood in it, all told. I was asked how I glued my parting pieces in there.
A lot of red in it. This is hackberry, and this is cherry.
Okay.
Well, you said to bring in your mistakes, and that's what I did.
But not all mistakes, are they?
Yeah, but one I managed to
Yeah.
salvage. This bowl here, this is cherry, and originally this bowl was about that deep.
We've all been there.
So you know the story on that one. This was my first attempt at a natural edge, and I was doing fine with it until I caught my tool on the edge here. And you can see there's some holes in it. Well, I looked at it for a little bit and then I said, well, I'll just pick up the pieces and glue them back on. Well, I didn't find all of the pieces. So I glued on what I found, and this is what it turned out to be. I took it off the lid, I sanded it down, said I'm done with it. And I think I just painted the whole thing with hardener, wood hardener, and then sanded it and left it at that. This is cherry, and I was making this for a friend, and I call this my amazing flying bowl because it flew off the lathe twice. And I mean it flew. And on the second time it came off, it cracked. So I just put some super glue on it and sanded it down a little bit and said, I'm done with it. Took it off the lathe. And
This is a tea light holder, but you can make anything you want out of it. In other words, if you want to put in a frog, you know, you could use it for dry flowers. You can do just about anything. And I have some oil lamps. I'm thinking the next time I try one of these, I'll put an oil lamp in it instead. So,
Well, this is just a piece of walnut. I turned the bowl out of that. This is a piece of burl. I'm not sure what it is, but it might be cherry. This was a cherry burl that a fella gave me. It had a big crack in it. So I used that crack as a starting point for this leaf design, and I inlaid
I've
these.
seen some of my inlay work before. Daryl Fisher asked me, a friend of mine here tonight, asked me if I would show him how I do this. So we spent a couple hours the other day, did that, show him. He can do his own now.
You didn't give it to him after you did it?
No. He wouldn't return any of it. I asked him how to put the last piece in. Okay, that's, I just bought this king wood and some tulip wood, and I had holly and some jatoba there. You can see there's a real fine ring around there. I saw Dick Singh do that for an inlay on a watch, a pocket watch. So I took a picture of his and I copied it. But I didn't put it in a pocket watch. Some of these I've had done for a while. They're just various kinds of wood. I cut out circles using a scroll saw, just rough cut, and I put them on a piece of double-faced tape, and I make them so they got a flange on one end and the exact round thing standing out maybe 1/8 of an inch from that. So when I try to make a hole and put it in, if it's too tight, I've got something to get a hold of and pull it back out. Okay, so I can demo that sometime if you want.
I
know
think
I've
that'd be
done
a
a
good
demo
idea.
once before.
We need 3 hours for that or not?
Well, I could show you the procedure, have most of the main work done.
Okay.
This is just a jar, you know, I thought it looked like a neat jar, so I made a lid for it. And that's just pressed in. I was going to glue it in, but I couldn't get it back out after I pressed it in. That one I made a picture of it, put on the computer and Word program, and put the names of all the wood on it. I did one that's 39 pieces, and I listed all the woods in it. There's 39 different kinds of wood. It's like, you know, it looks like a flower just about the size of that. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
It wasn't an hour, roughly. Come back out and there's stress cracks all over the outside of that thing. We had to take about, what, a quarter inch
Yeah.
of material off of it to get back to good wood
Return
in an
the outside.
hour. So that's how fast that'll dry. Here's a walnut oval vase. I still got it in the bag because it's only a couple days old. You said bring it in if it's not finished.
Sure.
And the problem with doing some of these is that you have to dry them before you can sand them, because you can't rough turn them like you do a bowl and then come back to it, because otherwise the bottom would be cracked for sure. And so far, other than a little cracking across the bottom here, this one seems to be surviving. This is probably, I think it's an inch wider than it is, or longer and is wider, whatever you want to call it, the difference. So you're welcome to take it out of here and look at it if you want it, but otherwise I'm gonna keep it in the bag to let that get there. If anybody, by the way, I'll have that fixture in the lathe there for another week probably. If anybody wants to see it, give me a call. I'll be happy to show you. There's a couple pictures here, other than my toner cartridge died and I didn't have time to change it. You can kind of see what the fixture looks like anyway. It's on an old Oliver lathe.
This is just a maple piece, I guess. It was only that wide. It wasn't tall enough, so I added a walnut foot on the bottom and did the coloring on it. What I did was, once I got it all sanded good, I went over the whole thing with yellow, and then I went up to this point with green, and then I put red on the bottom to make it even darker, kind of gives it a definition. So I attempt on doing some color. This, Mr. Gustafson last month gave me a small cherry burl. After the meeting, he goes, "Here, do something with this." So I just brought that to him. What do you think, huh? Did I do you proud? On the top, I don't know if you did it or not, but this is African blackwood, along with a insert there that I threaded. So it's pretty cool. For you new turners, and I took some stuff over to Goodwill and dropped some stuff off, and then I went inside and kind of walked around. A lot of times, if you let your imagination run a little bit, you don't have to buy all these expensive kits, if you want to call it that. These are salt and pepper shakers, and all it was is just a plastic, it's about that high in there, but it's straight up and down, so it would go into the sleeve. So I just turned these and put the plastic in there, and then just hot glued them in. I bought these sets, were 50 cents a piece. Yeah, they're plastic, but it gives you something that is inexpensive kit, if you want to call it that. Our woodworking books is not the only place to be creative, and this is just a prime example of I got 50 cents worth of product and a little time, and gave me something to do, So don't overlook. The other thing I bought was they had a bunch of cork. So I made 3 sets of coasters. The cork was thin, so I made 3 sets of coasters with the cork. So you don't have to buy expensive kits. Use your imagination and go with it. I did turn 3 bullet pens.